So in this video, we're gonna talk about the bow playstyle. We're gonna talk about everything you need to know in order to get really good with the bow. You guys have seen me go flawless multiple times, win a bunch of 1v3s against really good players. And yes, it is absolutely possible to go against those people, go flawless, whatever, with a bow setup, and it's actually really, really fun. So I'm gonna go over a few things, and we're gonna start from the very beginning. Let's go ahead and talk about, first of all, why and who should be using the bow. If you like a support playstyle, that's the first thing you gotta do, and that's how you gotta look at it as a beginner. You're just starting off with the bow, and you're like, you have no idea how to use it, how to play, how to go against good players. The first thing you need to understand is the mindset of you approaching it in the correct manner. So you gotta look at it as a support build. Now let me quickly explain why you should look at the bow as a support build, especially as a beginner. First of all, the style this weapon brings is as follows: damage enemies, then do callouts and create openings for your teammates to get easy cleanup kills, which in itself already is a support playstyle. But even if you are running solo and if you are new to using a bow and you're trying to play aggressive right away, you will most likely end up dead most of the time. The reason for this is you're not used to this playstyle yet, to this weapon, which means you don't quite understand distance control with a bow on a high level. Therefore, you're gonna die a lot, then get demotivated and think it's not possible to play against good teams with a bow setup. Instead, I want you to look at it as a support playstyle for the first few hours, days, or however long it takes you. And when you get very comfortable with your shots, then we move on to the next step of this playstyle, which I will talk about in this video. And looking at it as a support as a beginner doesn't mean a bow cannot be deadly and very aggressive as a playstyle. Trust me, once you master it, you can destroy people. I'm talking 1v2, 1v3 encounters, but you gotta take it one step at a time. If you shoot an arrow and then you stay here to shoot him again, the draw time, the reload on the bow is pretty slow. And unless that guy you're fighting against has two fingers, and in some cases people with two fingers play the game extremely fucking good, they will destroy you. Okay, so your chances are pretty low to survive there. Fighting out in the open is the last thing you want to do with a bow as a beginner. Trust me, I've seen many players just walk out like this. They shoot you and they just stay there and try to shoot you again, and they simply don't have enough time and they get absolutely melted. As mentioned, you always want to try to find positions where you have cover. You get the shot in, get ready again, get the second shot in. That's the smart way of doing it. Please keep that in mind as a beginner. That's a huge tip that will make your life much easier. Now, let's talk about the combos with the bows. What is the best combination to pair with a bow? Is it a shotgun, sidearm, whatever it is? What would you run with it in order to compete with good players against good teams and so on? But most of the time, what you will see is shotguns, sidearms, hand cannons, and sometimes submachine guns. All of these can work depending on your playstyle. For example, we talked about playing the supportive playstyle, which will accompany the bow playstyle at all times, no matter what. So no matter how you play it, at the end of the day, it is going to be a support playstyle at its core, because you're getting a lot of damage in and then you're creating opportunities for your teammates to get easy kills. But if you want to play it extra safe, you can always slap on a shotty. So in case, for example, you're in a 1v2, you hit this guy and you see on the map somebody's pushing you, you swap to your shotgun, get the easy kill around the corner, and then you can focus on the other guy. This is for the people that want to play a bit more defensive and you guys don't want to get aggressive at all times. Another option obviously would be a sidearm for those close range encounters, or submachine guns, depending on which one you like more. If those weapons have perks like damage perks, kill clip, rampage, whatever it is, those are extremely easy to activate with a bow, because obviously, let's say if somebody was right over here, you get the shot, you swap, you get the kill, and you activate your kill clip or whatever, and then you kind of got to play aggressive though. Keep that in mind, because you don't want to waste that kill clip perk, and it's really cool to activate those damage perks with the help of the bow. So keep that in mind. In my opinion, one of the best combos with the bow though are hand cannons. The hand cannons give you a few different ways to play the game, and one of the strongest sides of this is that you can take out your enemies at the beginning of the match, for example, in a mode like Trials, which gives you easy picks, and then your team gets to stay in a 2v3 situation and so on. So for example, if I open this door and somebody was right over there, you get hit, get the kill, and boom, your team is in a 3v2 situation. And it's much easier to get those picks at the beginning of rounds, which is very valuable in modes like Trials, competitive, and so on. Depending on what hand cannon you want to use, obviously you can use legendary hand cannons too if you want. You're looking for high handling. Dire Promise is my personal favorite. Snapshot Sights, Rangefinder. It's a great option. This one came from Xur. In my opinion, if I was to rate which combinations are the best, I would go bow hand cannon, bow sidearm, bow submachine gun, and if you want to play extra defensive, bow shotgun. That would also be a great choice. Or if you like fusions, you can use a legendary bow like I am here, and then Bastion in the kinetic slot. That also works fine. Now, there is one more thing that I want to talk about when it comes to combos. I actually made a video about this. For example, if you have a messenger with kill clip or desperado, bows make it really easy to proc. And the reason is going to be the same, because you have quick access sling on your bow, you get the tag, and look how quick the swap is. You get the kill, and then you're rocking desperado and absolutely melting people. So these are the things I wanted to go over when it comes to the combinations, the weapons with the bows. And now let's talk about the main thing I want to discuss and the main questions I get about the whole bow playstyle. How do you go from an average bow player to an extremely good one, and what's the difference? And there's quite a few of them. The first one on the list for me is going to be positioning and awareness. A lot of people position themselves very, very badly. So that puts them at a huge disadvantage. Now, a lot of people, and I see this a lot, use a bow, they know there's a sniper, and they just literally walk out. That's the first mistake and the biggest mistake you're going to make against snipers, because it's the easiest shot of their life, because a good sniper always has the reticle at the right spot, and if you're just walking out, you're going to get clapped. What I usually do is first I try to bait a few shots if I know it's a sniper there. Sliding in and out really helps to bait that shot in case they don't react, which most of the time they do and try to take the shot. Hopefully they use both shots. Sometimes they don't, but if they do, that's good for you. And another thing I do is I always peek and crouch, right? That also throws them off a lot. Make sure to not do this, okay? You don't want to do this. You want to kind of do this faster. The biggest difference between an average bow player and a really good one is how they go against people at close range. This is when most of the bow users fail. You guys have seen multiple 1v3s where I go against people mid-range to close range, some shotgunners, some fusions, whatever it is, and I've won many of them. I'm not trying to brag, it's just how it has been many, many times. And there's a reason behind it. It's not because I'm the only one that can do it. It's because I've just put in more time. I have to be very good with my distance control in order for that to work. What I mean by that, for example, if there's a shotgunner rushing in and I hear the jump, I can't stay here because he will cover the distance from here to here extremely quick, especially with the current abilities and all the mobility stuff and the speed the game has. So what you want to do is you need to anticipate that. If somebody's running at you right there, you need to be hopping back and aiming down at the same time. And then once he gets into range, you need to take the shot, get the kill, and then you want to isolate the second player into a 1v1 situation. So even if they're rushing you from here, let's say 2 of them, what you want to do is you want to focus on one guy as fast as you can. For example, you boom, take this guy out, then you drop this, and you create more range, okay? You create more range, then you have a better look at that body, and then you're back into it. You're already fully recovered if you were damaged, and then you're in a 1v1 situation again. So what I'm trying to tell you is you don't want to be in 2v1 situations for a long time. You want to take one guy out, create distance, recover, and re-engage. That is going to be the best way for you to reach success in those bow encounters. As mentioned, shotgunners are a huge issue for a lot of bow users. Once again, it will come down to distance control, and yes, it will take time to get used to controlling that distance, but it is absolutely possible, and you can absolutely clap these people that are just rushing it. For me personally, I feel like shotgunners are the easiest to beat when you get really good with the bow. They're very easy to beat, they're very predictable, the biggest problems you're always going to have is a very good sniper. They can be baited into shots also, as mentioned. I mean, the snipers, but they will always be harder to beat than shotgunners that just run in a lane. Or even if they're good shotgunners, you can anticipate what they're doing, the slides and everything. They are much easier to beat. Once you get it down, trust me, you will be clapping them left and right. And now I want to talk about the final level of becoming the Bowmaster. And I feel like once you get this down, then you're good, right? I'm not talking about the jump shots and the 360s that you guys see a lot on the streams or whatnot. You know, those are pretty easy, guys. You know this. We do them every stream, pretty much every game now. 360s. We even landed a 720. So it is what it is. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is aggressive play. The more you play aggressive, the better you will get in close range encounters and so on. Don't be afraid to die. Don't care about the KD. If you really want to get better with this setup, you just got to play more. You got to make the mistakes. There is no success without failure. And if you fail at the end of the day, you take lessons from that and you become better. And this is no exception. Once you are very comfortable with the setup, you will understand that it is very scary to go against you because the kill time is very fast. And even though it is high risk, high reward, if you're not missing those shots, you will be rewarded a lot for playing aggressive and playing smart. Guys, before we move on, let me explain what I mean by aggressive and smart play. Let's say you are in a trials game and you get a pick. At this point, if your team is going in, you shouldn't be far behind. Don't stay in the safe zone. You gotta push in with the team. Keep landing those shots so your teammates get easy cleanup kills. And you yourself should be trying to get those picks. As mentioned, when you get comfortable with the bow shots, there is zero reason to play extremely safe. And to be honest, when you get into that top tier PvP, playing it super safe and not pushing in when you should be pushing will hurt the whole team. You gotta know when to be aggressive and take advantage of those early picks that you get. Now, I'm not saying rush in without knowing where the enemies are or without any thought whatsoever. That's why I said aggressive and smart plays and not just aggressive. Get a pick, quickly figure out the enemy locations, and push accordingly. Fact is, you can't miss any of your shots. If you miss your bow shot or your hand cannon shot, you are dead. You gotta be precise. You gotta land those shots. It is a very fun setup. It is a very fun play style. But as mentioned, chat, it is high risk, high reward. When you get all of this together, guys, you will be winning 1v2s, 1v3s in trials. Trust me, it is possible. You've seen it. I've done it. And you can do it too. It just takes a little bit of time and effort, and it's actually really, really fun to do. High risk, but high reward, as I mentioned. Now, what about the exotics that I like to use with the bow? Depending on what class you're on, when I play on my Warlock, for example, I love to run my Astrocite Verse because I love to blink, or my getaways, but more I like to blink, so I usually use Astrocite Verse with my bow. On the Titan, I like Titanus Ramparts. They're pretty fun. Or One-Eyed Mask. They're also pretty good. Both of them are pretty good with the bow setup. And finally, on the Hunter, I love to run Oathkeepers no matter what bow I'm using, because I'm able to put on quick access link on my legendary bows. So the swaps after I take a shot is very fast regardless. So I don't really need Dragon Shadow to make the swap times extremely fast. But Oathkeepers, on the other hand, gives me the ability to get in easier shots with the bow because I can hold it indefinitely. It's always going to do max damage. And the biggest thing to this is I can always look at that radar, ladies and gentlemen. If you take a look, it's always up. I don't have to worry about it. I pretty much use it not like Knucklehead radar. It's always there. I always have my eyes on that radar so I don't get flanked. As mentioned, map awareness and distance control is the biggest traits a bow user needs to have. If you don't have those, it's not going to be an easy day. Okay. Somebody donated. Hey, Tony. Hey, what up, buddy? Tony with a 20 in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I like to use Worm Husk, Dragon Shadow, or Bacchus. Any of those will do. If you enjoy using Stompies, go ahead and do that. Well, let's talk about the exotic bows quickly, and I'll tell you my opinion, which ones are viable on top tier PvP. If I'm being honest, this is just my humble opinion. In top tier PvP, I think Lemonarch reigns supreme. This is the bow you want to run if you want to go against really sweaty teams. It's very powerful when we're talking about exotics, and then it would be Wish Ender depending on your playstyle. But other than that, I don't think any of the bows such as Trinity Ghoul or Tikus are really viable at top tier PvP, especially in modes like Trials. For the legendaries, we got a lot of them that can compete in combination with hand cannons, sidearms, shotguns, whatever it is. Point of the Stag right here, and Wolf Tone Draw. Both of these are really good. I like to have Harmony on my Wolf Tone Draw, or Adagio on my Wolf Tone. And obviously Point of the Stag has Vorpal and Archer Stamper, which is amazing to have right here. And even if you're using another bow, swap to this in the super rounds because it absolutely destroys supers. You can 2-shot headshot supers with this bow. It's very strong. And then in the kinetic slot, I like Biting Winds with no distractions and snapshot sights. I know a lot of people like Swashbuckler. I'm not a big fan that much. I know it's very powerful, but I prefer this role right here. But it's going to be your call. If you think that's better, go ahead and do that. These are the mods that I run. Okay. Last item. Boots. Chest. Here are my Oath Keepers. And here's the helmet. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you're running Le Monarque, you want to have powerful friends and Radiant Light on. Now, the reason you want to do this is because if your teammate also has these mods, and if when they pop the super and you're next to them, you will get charged with light. What happens then is if you also have high energy fire and taking charge, you will have 2 shots with your bow that will kill people in 1 shot. So your Le Monarque shots become 1-shot kills. You'll have 2 arrows like that, which is very strong. Another thing on the gloves right here, I have precision charge. Let's take a closer look at this one. By rapidly defeating combatants with precision kills from bows, hand cannons, and scout rifles, you get charged with light pretty much. 2 rapid kills, you will get charged with light, and the 3rd enemy, you will be able to 1-shot. So that's another really great mod you want to be running. I run that all the time. What is a good hand cannon is with the quick draw or snapshot from for a bow? That's a good question, Kazama. You don't really need quick draw. On the gloves, you want to be running both bow dexterity and hand cannon dexterity. If you take a look, they kind of stack, right? Look, faster ready and stow speed for bows, right? And if you look at this, faster ready and stow speed for hand cannon. So what that means is not only does this ready the bow faster, but it stows it faster. So it puts it away faster. And then when you combine it with faster ready speed for the hand cannons, they kind of stack. So you can definitely feel the difference when you're running these two. So if you don't have a weapon with quick draw, that's what you should be doing. You should be stacking both of these unless you're running a legendary bow. And in that case, you don't really need that much because you can always slap on quick access sling. And that makes the swap speed insanely fast and you will be fine. All of these little things will help you a lot. Your bowmaster skills are going to be going up and up and you will become a true bowmaster.